It is quite a beautiful evening here on The Angler, and today we are going to do a bit of catfishing since a lot of people have wanted me to go for the channel Catfish. That's what we're going to do in today's video, and they are actually quite a bit of fun. Now, we're going to go to a location that I've found them previously, though I went there earlier in the day when I was fishing there the last time, so I don't know how different it's going to be now that it's closer to evening. Though I expect the bite to be a little bit more consistent since catfish do typically get a little bit more active in the evening hours and even more active once it gets dark. So we're now at the location where we're going to be fishing for some catfish, and before we actually get into the fishing, I did want to real quickly mention that I've seen a lot of people saying that they are not being notified when videos are being posted, and that is a known issue with YouTube. Sometimes if you have had the bell turned on for quite a while, it eventually will just stop working and then you'll have to re-enable it. So if you guys are getting the issue where you're not receiving notifications of new videos, as far as I know, the best way to fix it is to just turn off the bell and then turn it back on and you should be good to go. But I just figured I would mention that since I've seen quite a few people saying that they have not been receiving notifications even though they've got it turned on. Hopefully YouTube will eventually fix that, but to be honest, I don't think they ever will, which is unfortunate because I know a lot of you want to be notified the second a video goes live, and sadly, with the current state of YouTube, it doesn't necessarily work all the time. And I guess before we go too much further in the video, I should probably show you guys the setup I'm using. So right now I have decided to go with the Advocate rod, which is a 55-pound strength with a 22-pound max line capacity, or max line strength, I should say. We've got the Champion spinning reel, which is a 19.84-pound drag, along with an 11-pound strength. We've got 19-pound fluorocarbon, we've got a waggler, a 1/0 hook, and also a minnow. And this is basically the setup I caught that catfish on, but a little bit lighter rod and reel. Hopefully that won't affect things too much, but I think we should be able to still get some off of this setup here. The challenge is just going to be finding where these catfish are. And I think we should be able to get some around this bridge like I did earlier. The question is, how often will they bite? Because before it did take quite a while. Well, that was definitely a catfish that just jumped. The question is, will it be interested in our minnow at all? I went to a slightly lighter line and also a smaller hook in hopes that maybe that'll give us the strikes that we're looking for, because the heavy setup that I started with wasn't really working too well. It seemed like pretty much everything in the area wasn't even remotely interested in going for it, so we went to something a little lighter. Hopefully that'll give some different results. Wait, there we go. Finally, I see one. Yep, here we go. Finally a catfish. One more, and there we go. We got a catfish on. And I don't even remember what I put on here. I just randomly... It's a trout. Wow, okay, so it wasn't even a catfish. We caught a rainbow trout. That's unfortunate. I mean, I'll take it. It's still a fish, but... that is not what I expected. We got it on a minnow as well. I mean, I see a fish right there. I mean, I think it's a catfish, but... you know, knowing that last encounter, there's a very good chance that I'm wrong once again. It very well could just be a rainbow, and in fact, the more I look at it, the more I think it might be. I mean, if nothing else, we found a place where we can fish for rainbows with minnows pretty effectively, and... yeah, looks like it probably is another one. Yep, another rainbow. Silver this time, though. I've definitely noticed that the catfish seem to be one of the hardest fish to catch in the game. As of now, I've only caught a couple of them. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can just find something that consistently catches them, because as of now, it's been very difficult to find the right thing to use. Another fish there, but again, I think it's a trout. I think we once again have a trout going for it. I hope not, but it looks like a trout, and probably is a trout. Well, we'll see. Yeah, it's definitely a rainbow trout again. Rainbow trout number 3. No catfish in sight, though. So after not really getting any catfish at that last location and needing to go get some different baits to attempt to maybe get those to work, I decided to actually change locations after we changed a bait. So we're now going to be using this setup here, which is the same rod and reel, but we now have 15-pound fluorocarbon, as well as a waggler size 1 hook and some dough. Hopefully this will be what produces the catfish. And this location says right here that it does have channel cats, so If we're lucky, maybe we'll get some out of here. It's also a little bit later at night, so maybe that will affect the fishing for the catfish as well. Hopefully it'll make it better, but I guess we'll see. There we go. We finally managed to hook into a fish. Let's just hope it is a channel cat. If it's not, then, well, back to the drawing board. But I think this one should be. There's not a lot of options of fish to catch at this particular lake, and yeah, it's definitely a channel cat. We have finally hooked into a channel cat. It is about time, man. There we go. Little bronze 5-pounder caught with minnows. Not bad at all. We did go a little bit lighter on the line. We're using 11-pound now. And it seemed to make all the difference from what I can tell. I am definitely really starting to see the difficulty of catfish fishing in the Angler. This is easily the most difficult fishing we've done so far. We're about 50 minutes into recording and we've caught one catfish. In an area that they are using bait that they like, this has been an interesting experience. Definitely way different from the trout and bass fishing that we've been doing. You know, that's a pretty big rainbow trout just chilling on the water surface. I feel like it would be wrong if I didn't go for it. So let's see if we can get this guy to bite. I think there's a pretty high chance that it will. And yeah, it's going straight for it. This one right here could be a big gold, possibly even a diamond if we're lucky. I decided to change locations in hopes that we could find some catfish over here, but sadly, nothing so far. But that might just be a giant. Yeah, 16.67 pound rainbow. That's a big one. You know, it started out as a catfish video and it's become just rainbow trout. Well, we're hoping that we can get a catfish, but you know, either way, we're at least getting some decent sized fish today, which is nice. Well, we've got a bite. Maybe this will be a catfish. There's also a chance it's just a rainbow, as they do like the minnows as well. But we're just gonna cross our fingers and hope that this is what we're looking for. It is kind of small, whatever it is. You know, maybe this isn't a rainbow. This actually might be something different. Is that a golden trout? I think it might be. That might actually be a golden trout. Yeah, it is. Wow. I have never caught a golden trout off of minnows before, so that's kind of cool. Wait a second. We got ourselves a bite on dough. I don't think a trout would be biting on a dough ball, so I think there's a higher chance that this will be a catfish than anything else. Possibly even maybe a perch, but gonna hope for a catfish. Yeah, it is. It looks like it is a catfish. Or is that a trout? If that's a trout, it is. Wow. That actually surprises me. I would not have expected a rainbow trout to bite a dough ball. That's interesting. Well, the channel catfish have proven to be much more difficult than I expected, so I think I'm going to end up spending more time trying to figure out how to catch them a little bit more efficiently, and in the meantime, I think we'll take a look at a diamond catfish that we ended up catching via one of the missions in the game. It was a pretty crazy fight, and it actually took me a long time to get this thing to bite, just like today with our catfishing here. It definitely took quite a while. And when we finally did get it to bite, it was an absolute giant and quite an awesome battle to go through. It was very nice to see that giant catfish go straight up to our bait and bite it, and then having a very long fight to continue on afterwards. It ended up being a lot of fun, and though it definitely took way longer than I would have thought compared to everything else in the game, it was definitely worth it. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little unfortunate we didn't have much luck with the catfish, though I do kind of like that they're difficult to find and difficult to catch. Gives us a bit of a challenge considering a lot of species are relatively easy, but to be honest, I don't expect a super difficult experience with a game that is supposed to be a part of the Call of the Wild series. We know the Hunter Call of the Wild is a more arcade hunting game where you can kill like 20 red deer in like 10 minutes. I assumed that this game was going to be along those lines as well, so I'm not too worried about the fact that it is a little bit more on the arcadey side. But I do like that the channel catfish give you a bit of a different fishing experience where they're a lot more difficult than something like a perch or a pike or a bass or a trout. And it's kind of the same with the lake trout as well. They are also very difficult to catch, and I haven't found a lot of them. So are the kokanee. So there is some fish in the game that are difficult to find and difficult to find large ones of, and in fact I haven't even caught a bluegill or a sauger. which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you did down below, and also let me know what you think of the Angler. So far, I like it. There is quite a few things that need to be adjusted or changed, mainly along the lines of the animations, but other than that, I think the game has been quite a bit of fun, especially being able to just traverse the open world map and pick all these different locations to try and cast a line and hopefully find something, and the ability to fish wherever I want is one of the big things that I love about this game. And I think that once they fine-tune things and kind of work out some of the bugs, introduce some better animations and transitions for animations for some of the fish and stuff like that, I think this could be an incredible game. If you guys are brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, click that like button, and ring that notification bell so that you guys will never miss any of the future uploads, and I will talk to you all in the next one. Peace!